One of the most coveted sneakers dropped in 2014, the Nike Yeezy 2 Red October, that still commands like thousands of dollars on the market, but the insane demand for that shoe means a lot of people back in the day had to miss out on the Red October fun. But in 2015, Nike offered up an alternative for Foamposite lovers. Remember, the 2012 Galaxy was a very coveted shoe. This is not too many years after that. They offered this alternative all-red shoe to make up for the loss of people not getting the Red Octobers. And it's coming back this year again. Nike Air Foamposite Pro Gym Red, aka Red October. And the shoe is dropping on May 29th for $240. A ton of money so far. The foams have not upped in price. At least it's been the same since I think 2 or 3 years ago. It was already $240. So let's see if they can hold out. I really absolutely doubt it. I bet by the end of 2026, a general release Foamposite Pro or 1 will be $245. I'm gonna call it right now. But of course, this colorway originally dropped in 2015. It might be the peasant Red Octobers. I don't care about all of that. Just looking at this in a vacuum, first impressions, I love it. I just think it really stands out. I've always loved very monochromatic shoes, and I'll say again, I don't necessarily have that type of aura to pull it off. Like, very nice. I don't really have the wardrobe for it, but just to look at, I love it. Definitely delicious for me. I would prefer this colorway over the OG Voltage colorway of the Pros that dropped earlier this month. This is it. This is the one. And in terms of the box, it is just a black Foamposite box, nothing too special. In 2015, it did come with a black Nike box as well. And the materials on the shoe, of course, it is Foamposite material. Now, the great thing about this material, it is durable, super durable, and it starts to mold to your feet the more you wear it. One kind of downside is it requires a bit of break-in time. The molds that have been coming in recent memory in comparison to the 1997 OGs is that it is a little softer, like right out the box, but still really one of a kind. And the way they make this material is by heating up polyurethane to 175 degrees Fahrenheit, poured into a mold, and once it cools, forms this very unique shape, which was originally inspired by Beetle. The reason why foams were $180 back in 1997 when they first dropped, which is like $360 in 2026 money, is because that mold that they pour this liquid polyurethane in is very, very expensive. Now, of course, the Pros has the extra swoosh that is on the lateral side of the shoe in comparison to the Foamposite ones that doesn't. I actually have grown to really like the Pros, how the swoosh breaks things up. And then moving up the tongue, you will see that mini swoosh on the toe box and a black outline. Love what they did here. The black outline itself, without coloring the whole swoosh black, I think just gives it a really cool look. And the eye stays here. It actually is made to look kind of like snakeskin. That is a change compared to the 2015 colorway, which was like fabric or textile there. And then you'll get this mesh tongue that provides some ventilation on the foams that doesn't have very good ventilation. Going up to the jeweled air logo and the tongue itself, as well as that pull tab. This is not a Foamposite 1, so there is no 1 cent Penny Hardaway branding. And another place that does not have 1 cent branding that the ones have is the booty. So you will just get a swoosh on the tab here. Love what they did here. I think if they had a black outline here, that would look pretty cool as well, just like that mini swoosh on the toe. But this looks great. And the back booty tab has Foamposite branding there too. And this tongue actually connects to the back part, forming this inner booty inside the shoe, gives it a little bit more like stability, wraps around your feet a little bit more tightly. I will get more to sizing and comfort later. But yeah, that feels pretty nice, kind of like an extra sock. And in terms of the laces, just red laces out of the box. I think other colors probably would defeat the point of this very intentionally monochromatic looking colorway. But if there was any other color, I think black would have looked pretty good, but I'm still going with the red. And one of the coolest things about these laces are these gold metal-like lace tips. Just really adds a little pop to them, but not too much. It actually elevates this colorway a little bit, in my opinion. Love that extra touch here. And in terms of the cushioning of the Foamposite Pros, it comes with a full-length zoom air unit, another zoom air unit on the heel, double stack there. So pretty beefy for a shoe that came out so long ago. And you will see this outsole majority herringbone traction with the swoosh breaking it up there. And right in the middle, you will see the carbon fiber poking through that extends slightly up onto the sidewalls there. That increases side-to-side stability. Carbon fiber is a very lightweight material, but also very strong. So it gives extra support, and it also helps with kinetic energy return. So when you push down, when you're playing ball, remember the Foams was a basketball shoe originally. You want as much energy to return back up as possible when you explode in the shortest amount of time. So adding a carbon fiber there helps too. It also increases torsional rigidity, so you don't want your shoes to bend and twist too easily. Sticking a plate in there, especially that carbon fiber that doesn't add too much weight while still being super strong, really helps with that. In terms of the insole, air branding, quality of it is pretty garbage. And in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. For Foamposite Pros, I usually just stick true to size. Word of caution, you do have to break the shoe in. This is one of those where the more you wear it, kind of just molds to your feet. It'll start to give a little bit, and then it just becomes quite a comfortable shoe. Still very heavy, very clunky, over a pound. If you're not used to a very flat shoe, one with a carbon fiber plate in it, you might need some adjusting to. But I think overall, honestly, you can wear this all day and you shouldn't have any problems. And that brings the total score of the Foamposite Pro Gem Red to 29 out of 40. A pretty average score compared to other general releases. Now first, it is colorway. I think this is one of the better Foamposite Pro colorways ever. I just really love red shoes, even though I don't wear it too much. It is just something that looks really nice, like on a shelf. Kind of like all purple shoes, like the alternate grape Jordan 5s. I personally can't really pull it off, but on a shelf, looks delicious. Same with this. And in terms of the materials, the foams just are so unique, one of a kind. It is durable, it molds to your feet, it is not super stiff. It has a totally different look than other shoes that you are going to be buying in general. I just really like this type of material. The only thing that I prefer more is like just delicious leather. And in terms of the comfort, if you don't like heavy shoes, this is not going to be one for you. If you don't like old shoes, this is not it for you. But if you can get past that, except that this shoe came out before the year 2000, which is nearly 30 years ago, it still holds up surprisingly well. And in terms of versatility, I think the foams just still look a little bit too retro and kind of bulky. Just, I don't know, there's something about it that I don't think is super versatile. Just the shape of the shoe, and of course the wearability of the colorway, it is very out there. All red, you're really gonna stand out, especially with this type of material. There's some sheen to it, so it stands out even more. It's not exactly like muted. Definitely, I wouldn't say it is the most wearable shoe, but like I said, this for me is one where I might wear it once in a while, but for me it's more of a collector's item just to sit there and admire. Now today's throwback of the day, since this Foamposite colorway originally came out in 2015, I will go back to what was significant about that year. It's 11 years ago now. It's kind of nuts. That was when I moved to Melbourne, Australia. One of the best cities in the world, period. Just the best coffee in the world, some of the best food out there, a lot of foodies, very fit people, a lot of people that look after themselves, that really like to stay in shape. It is very arts driven as well, just has a ton of things going for it. It often makes one of the most livable cities in the world, and I absolutely agree. Just had a great time in Melbourne. I only stayed there for 2 years. That was a very pivotal year in my life. I got a new job there, and it just had an absolute great time. If you ever plan a trip like down under, going to Australia, and you're just going to see like Sydney or the Gold Coast, 100% strongly recommend you take a detour to Melbourne, Australia as well. I cannot say enough great things about that city. We have had some absolute bonkers Foamposite Pros come out one after the other, with the pearls, the pine green, the UNC one was very nice as well, the voltage and OG colorway back for the first time in 30 years. Now these, out of all of them, I'd still put the pearls and the pine greens probably over this, but it is very close. All very nice colorways. Oof, it is close. I love how this looks. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Nike Air Foamposite Pro Gym Red, aka Red October. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.